now trying to figure out himself, and I'm on menopause. So in the night it's be like that. The fan and the AC on and off, and he going mad because he's pulling the blanket and is on a wave balance. It can't control it. I don't know what to do. So sometimes I will cloak up and then I will feel because I also anemic. So with the anemic, I'll feel cold very quickly, and then I'll feel warm very quickly. And then he on the bed is suffering, don't know what to do. And he going through anthropause where his hair is falling off and this happening to his body and he going mad and I going crazy. And it's like, what happened to you? And your anthropause behavior, and you and your menopause behavior, how me going crazy in the night, I didn't get enough sleep. I didn't get enough sleep, he didn't get enough sleep, and it's just an off balance. So sometimes it's wonder if you're supposed to marry a man who is 20 years older than you, so he could go through it. So it wouldn't be at the same time, we're going through it at the same time because it's a 3-4 years difference. So if we had married somebody 10 years older, he would have done gone through that and I would have been going through my menopause by myself. So
Well,
I think that would have been the better solution.
well, I want to, there's a solution down at the end, and I want us to keep in mind, number one, we live in a sinful world. Number two, there's something called conversation. I find conversation is such a beautiful thing. So talking it out. Sometimes we can't relate to each other. But when we talk, and not only talking, but practicing. And remember, love is something, I can't be giving marital advice here this morning. We talk about menopause, but let me give this marital advice. There's this song, you want 50-50 love. You know that song? That's a lie. It's 100-100. You can't be giving somebody 50-50 love. You give everything. So you're patient and you're a good listener and you want to compromise, okay, I'll get a bigger blanket. I'll sew two together. So when you're fed up at your piece, I have my piece. How much time going? Good? Okay, let's move on. 2 more minutes? No, I need about 6. Some other symptoms. You have children here? Good. Vaginal dryness. This is something that women go through. And because of the vaginal dryness, they have a reduced libido. Because there's a thinning of the vaginal walls because of the reduction in estrogen. Beat up in estrogen, and you want it, and it go on, and so it causing so much problems because it is less, being produced less. So, the man is be frustrated. Let me move on quick, right? I could say plenty on this topic, but I'll move on. Again, yeah. Osteoporosis, the bones begin to get thin, but there are things we can do about that because, of course, because of the reduced estrogen, bone is going back into circulation, so the bones are becoming thinner. The hair starts to thin. This is because when estrogen falls, testosterone levels rise. It exceeds the estrogen, and your hair starts to thin because the follicles start to shrink. Right? Weight gain because the lack of estrogen causes an increase in appetite. And difficulty concentrating is one thing. Difficulty focusing. You get palpitations. Feel as if you're going to die. And a lot of women end up in casualty because these palpitations, they swear they're going to die. They get, restless feet and headaches, severe headaches. All of these due to the fall in estrogen. Now, how can we relieve these symptoms, be relieved of these symptoms? There's hormone replacement therapy, there are natural remedies, and there are lifestyle changes. So let's get into the hormone replacement therapy. I'm hurrying up. There are hormones that you can take to replace the hormones that have declined. But these, medication have side effects. If you were to take garlic and it causes you could drink how much garlic you want, you're good to go. But when you take tablets, this is what happens. You can get certain cancers of the uterus and you can have an increase in fats. This is something you don't want. There are natural remedies, black cohosh, St. John's warts, and there's a combination of the two. I can't remember the name. Remy Femigan or something. I can't remember the name. Where they mix both of them And also there's evening primrose, and they have been known to relieve some of the symptoms, right? But lifestyle changes, these are what you can do independently to change, to feel better. And these are the few. You can trust in God. I put that first because the frustration you're going through, you could really lose it. But when you know you serve a loving and a risen God, you will trust in Him, right? Good. Other things you can do: exercise, jogging, brisk walking. When you smoke, use alcohol or caffeine, these actually worsen the symptoms of menopause. Weight-bearing exercises to keep the bones strong. High fiber foods instead of the cakes and all those things that are unhealthy that will give you a belly. And there's also a website online, A Vogel Menopause Support. You can go there for advice on symptoms and you know how to deal with certain issues. Now I have the best advice. Sister Charmaine running men smarter. She put the book on the table. But I am going now. Just let me just read this for you. Keep your wants, women and men, sister, that frustration you have. Keep your wants, your joys, your sorrows, your cares, and your fears before whom? Before God. You cannot burden Him. You cannot weary God. He numbers the hairs of the head, even the ones that fallen out. He's not indifferent to the wants of any of His children. James 5:11 said, the Lord is very pitiful and of tender mercy. His heart is touched by our sorrows and even by us uttering them. Take to Him everything. Everything or some things. Everything that perplexes your mind. Nothing is too great for Him to bear. He holds up the universe and rules over all the affairs of the universe, right? There's no chapter in your experience too dark for Him to read. There's no perplexity too difficult for God, your Heavenly Father, to unravel. Psalm 147:3 says He heals the broken heart and binds up their wounds. And finally, the relations between God and each soul are as distinct and full as though He didn't have other children. He sees you, Brother Greaves. You know, in that Graves, last week when they were saying somebody came in church and wanted to shoot and they're asking for who is Brother Graves, I could honestly say I didn't know who that was. Right? But you, Brother Graves, God sees you as if there's nobody else. And He sees everybody individually as if there's nobody else. Can you imagine that? You telling me He can solve my problem? No. So, this is my advice to you. And, I wanted to let all the women know that you are all together. No, I'm not saying that as if I believe it. You are all together what? Beautiful. We are beautiful. Right? There is no flaw in you. Okay? So, God bless you.
Well, I knew that I wanted a different type of health message this morning because we always talk about food and exercise and those things. But I didn't think reaching out to Sister Vanessa, who I know as a singer, but then I should have remembered she's a nurse. And therefore, all that we got this morning is, yes, power pack. And I am sure that we were blessed by it. Sister Vanessa, I want you to know that you will be on again. And maybe women's ministry may have to look into that also. All right, so it's back to where we started, talking about faith. And I just want to share a couple things with you before we close our program. When we think of faith, we usually think of faith as far as our temporal things are concerned. Media room. Thank you for the slide. Okay, a little bigger, please. If you can make it a little bigger for the congregation. So we think about my faith in God, or by faith in God, we can testify to protection from accidents on land and sea or in the air. And we say that's faith in God. We also have adequate provision of our daily bread, a home in which to live, divine guidance in making decisions. When we plant, we reap